we recognize for early stage companies, the most important thing that they can get is money and support. And that comes with building great relationships between investors and founders. And we hope today could be the first step in building some of those relationships. So we're going to have 6 pitches, including 1 video. They're going to last for 6 minutes, and then if you want to ask any questions, feel free to put them in the chat bar while they go along. But what we really encourage you to do is if you see something of interest, if you have a question, take down the pitcher's contact details and go to them directly and get to know these guys, because that's the most important thing. So just to kick things off, we have got Kufa from Scale Up for Growth. Scale Up for Growth is a company who joined the Raise Accelerator earlier this year. And despite the chaos that's going on around the world, is making fantastic progress and going from strength to strength. And this will be a great opportunity for him to share what he's achieved to this date and what he's looking for investment-wise. So I will hand over to Kufa to get going. So Kufa, just so you know, you have 6 minutes. I will wave at 5 and then shut you down at 6. So good luck.
Oh, it was 7 or I thought it was 10, Mike. What's happened?
Okay, 6.5 minutes. Then it's you.
No problem. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that great intro and inviting me along to your Raise Pitch Up 3. Hello, everybody. So my name is Kufa Matia. I am the CEO for Scale Up for Growth, and I'll start my 6.5 minutes now. So who are we? In essence, we are a human intent solution tech business. Our focus is around redefining early career recruitment through unlocking the true power of technology, which is data science and the human heart people. The aim is around enabling organizations to engage, attract, and recruit the right talent with the right fit in the right roles. So what are the challenges right now? The war for talent is real and it's impacting organizations. We know the cost of recruitment is expensive. The ineffective recruitment processes and tools in place are impacting and not helping that at all. A talent assessment is based on immediate future. So I wanted to share this particular slide with yourselves. And there's key parts we've hired, that the challenges that startups and tech companies face, which is, can they hire the key talent that they need to facilitate business growth and recovery? And everything that we do in this next, as we go through the slide deck, we'll come back to these points. So thinking about what we just saw as a key challenge, this is our total addressable market based on the 2 core sectors that we're focusing on initially, which is tech and infrastructure. If you look at the fact of some data from Tech Nation just recently published, tech job vacancies have climbed significantly since the low in July. Since the low in July, to up by 50%. Since the same time, if you look at vacancies, they're increasing at a rate of 2.6 a month, reaching a total of 75,000 in November and projected to hit 100,000 by the beginning of summer of this year. So we're on a real trajectory in terms of growth of jobs. The annual demand for jobs within the engineering infrastructure sector at the moment is 124,000 annually until 2024. And on top of that, you've got 79,000 jobs that need to be sourced annually just to deal with the natural churn. So there's a huge potential market for us to go in there and truly make a difference, focusing on helping organizations to hire the talent that they need to facilitate that growth and recovery. So what are our solutions? 3 core parts to it. The use of data science, both in helping organizations analyze and understand their data, but also how we're going to implement machine learning and artificial intelligence to support the recruitment process. Our culture matching, which enables organizations to match the right talent within the right parts of their team in order for them to build those high-performing teams. And our platform, MyPam, which brings all those 3 things together to deliver those 3 things. So talk about our talent platform, MyPam. What we've done here is a screenshot around what our platform would deliver. Thinking about that challenge statement that was made, imagine if organizations can increase their offer acceptance rate. What does that mean to those organizations? It means that they can bring people on quicker, which means they can focus on business growth and recovery sooner. The cost metrics, if you can reduce your cost per hire, that means that you have more money to invest in other parts of your business to support that business growth and recovery. Our post-hiring metrics, so imagine you spend all that time increasing your offer acceptance ratios, getting your cost per hire down, but then you're losing those people. So if you can retain that talent, develop that talent, the impact that has on an organization is huge. And our platform will enable organizations to track all those key metrics with the focus of achieving those outcomes. So what's our competitive analysis landscape like? We've identified 8 organizations which cover parts of what we do and what we offer as a service. And these are the differentiators for us. Our ability to analyze our customers' data, to be able to provide that predictive and prescriptive nature to it. Our human and tech solution, our culture matching capabilities, our in-house specialists, and most importantly, out of those 8 competitors, we are one of 4 who are starting in the UK and expanding wider. So what's our business model? It's a scalable resourcing solution, which can be delivered both as a project-based or fully managed service provision. The use of data science, that predictive and prescriptive analysis enables organizations to really understand where their challenges are, how can they make those improvements and build that effective recruitment process. Our culture matching, enabling organizations to bring that right talent together, bring them into the right role in the right team. We've based our revenue model on a monthly subscription basis. So from a recruitment perspective, instead of paying every time you find someone, this is a model that enables organizations to budget effectively. It's on a tiered pricing model. So if you're a startup scaling, if you're a scaling business growing, if you're an enterprise business expanding, we have a tiered pricing model that fits that. The team we've got in place, there's myself as a CEO. I've got over 12, is now 14, 15 years, probably more in talent acquisition. I've experience of setting up and scaling a startup from 2 people to about 45 people at its peak, and we went through 3 or 4 massive funding rounds. I've got Naily, who's my chief product officer, who I've known for a number of years, who's got extensive experience in developing products and platforms. Dion, who joined as our advisor, again, huge experience in track record, and most excitingly, most recently, was part of a workforce planning consulting business that got involved with supporting the likes of Walmart to improve how they plan their workforces going forward. You've got Matt, who is our chief data scientist and the man responsible for the, as we call it, the secret sauce. How do we go about building the models that enable our organizations to use their data effectively to make those instrumental changes? And then we have our back-end and front-end development team who are responsible for the mechanisms of the platform. So our successes to date, we've developed the product. We're now at MVP development phase for 1. So we've got the analytics platform ready, and we're now canvassing customers for real live data so we can start to get that in place. Our website is completed. We just need to pull together the content. The key team, which is the most important part for me, has been recruited on board. We have got some customer early interest coming in from ACOM, big engineering consulting organization, Signet, massive in healthcare, and Dassault Systems, who are a software engineering 3D company. We are SCIS and EIS advanced assurance. So that's what we've done since March of last year. 1 minute. Year two, the focus on what we're going to do to take our product from MVP to MMP, secure 10 customers, UK growth, grow the team by 4, and achieve our revenue targets of 1 million. So what are we looking for? A £250,000 seed round. We're looking to close that in February of this year. The focus around that, again, is how we're going to invest in our market lead generation, because we've got the analytics platform ready. We need to now get our customers coming on board, drive our sales strategy, focus on developing the next part of MyPam around culture matching and the CRM part, and all that will equate to us delivering that £1 million in revenue. So to close off, scale up for growth, it's about embedding people, technology, and data science, giving our customers that ability to culture match their teams and employees, to attract and recruit better quality hires and manage those hiring costs, to engage, attract, and recruit the right talent with the right fit in the right roles. Thank you very, very much. Any questions, please feel free to ask.
That's great. Thank you very much. Just have no questions have come in yet, but if you have any questions, stick them in the chat. Just one question I was only asked: is there any specific sector that the customer base that you're looking for, or can you service most industries?
Yeah, we'll be able to service most industries. However, as you know, when you're scaling a business, slowly catch the monkey. So we're just going to try and start off with our 2 sectors, because we know those sectors really well. And then as we sort of start to grow, we'll bring on the other 2 sectors, a number of other sectors we're looking at. We've got potential interest in financial services. We've got some interest more in manufacturing engineering, with the likes of BA systems and stuff like that. So yeah, the plan is to expand further.
And is there any geographic limitations on what you can do?
Not at this moment. However, the focus again, to try and keep things tight, we're really going to focus on the UK market. The plan then is, as once we've got the UK market where we want it to be, we'll start to look at Europe. However, as you can see, with 2 of those customers who are already interested, there's an opportunity to expand beyond that. So Dassault Systems, we've got a contact in the European side, but they've got a big presence in the US. The same thing with ACOM. We've got our contact is UK EMA. So we've got the Middle East and Asia as his portfolio, but they're massive in the US as well. So we've got the scope to expand beyond that is definitely on the horizon for us. But we're just going to focus on the UK. Let's get that traction, and then we can start to look at what we do next. That's
brilliant. Look, thank you very much. So if anyone has any specific questions or want to get in touch, Kuva's contact details are on screen, and I think in the chat as well. So brilliant. So moving on from Kuva in the Midlands, England, we're now on to Harry in Holywood, County Down, Northern Ireland. RotaPal is a fantastic platform. I'll just read the official. Is revolutionising how doctors and healthcare professionals manage their schedules, saving time and saving lives. So I think we're all very aware now of the challenges facing the medical profession of this year, but a lot of these pressures were new, and I think Harry's identified this problem and has got a great solution to solve it. So I will pass over to Harry. And as is tradition of 2020, I have to go now and close the door because the dog is running wild around the house. So if I go off screen, I'm dealing with the dog. So good luck, Harry. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Michael, and thanks very much for the lovely introductory there. I hope you get your dog sorted out there. I'm Harry. I'm the CEO of RotaPal. I'm just going to take you through our investment deck now, and obviously happy to take any questions you have following the pitch. So imagine the scene in A&E following a severe road traffic accident. There are multiple casualties with life-threatening injuries. The responding doctors will require the immediate expertise of various specialty consultants. Finding these doctors relies on their rotas being accessible and accurate, but currently that means staff scanning paper-based rotas often stuck to ward walls and often found to be out of date. Every second counts. And why is this happening? Because doctors are still receiving and managing rotas on offline Excel spreadsheets. To make a swap, they have to email multiple different stakeholders. Often there's a breakdown with numerous versions of the same rota in circulation. In a study we did with the South Eastern Trust, 77% of doctors had experienced contacting the wrong colleague on call. Inefficiencies lead to clashes, rota gaps, and unnecessary inflated locum expenditure. Medical locums are costing the NHS £1 billion annually, and this isn't helped by agencies charging anywhere between 10 and 30% per shift. But the greatest cost is on the impact on patient safety. But with a team of frontline clinicians and surgeons Michael Eames and Johnny Warnock, and tech entrepreneurs Roger McCracken and Gary Tyre, we've carried out extensive research and development, and we've designed a solution. RotaPal is a real-time rota management and communication platform, enabling users to instantly access the colleagues they need in most an emergency. It enables them to swap shifts, plan leave, and even pick up locum work. From a hospital management perspective, they can access a live feed of who's working at any given time, connecting the entire ecosystem. We have 3 main value propositions. First and foremost, patient care. We provide clinicians with instant access to each other, enabling them to be more proficient in the delivery of care, saving time and saving lives. Even at a more basic level, waiting lists are increasing day on day. What if a clinician didn't spend the 2 hours a week managing their rota? That's potentially 4 more patients seen every week. Over a year, that's 208. Put that into a workforce of 500 doctors, that's over 104,000 extra patients seen. Secondly to that, we're looking at clinicians' time. Juggling shift patterns, training, and personal life is the #1 struggle for doctors and plays a significant role in clinicians delaying their training or walking away from the industry altogether. But RotaPal provides them with a platform to streamline their work-life balance. And thirdly, reducing costs. No longer will multiple individuals be required to waste time updating and resending rotas. No longer will local shift requirements be manually distributed, and RotaPal provides an instant dissemination of updates for all. But who are our customers? Doctors and clinicians are key, but we want to build and engage and help this community by offering them with their very own free app to manage their schedules. And so we have strategized a freemium to premium approach. They can build out their shift patterns in minutes and get to work on unifying their work-life calendars. This approach reduces any initial barriers to engagement, and with RotaPal's USP, the ability to seamlessly invite colleagues to and amalgamate rotas, thus connects the team, enabling them to swap shifts, plan leave, and access who's on call. At this stage, we engage with the specialty department, our customers, to pay for their services, which on average we would charge about £5,000 a year. Building upon this, we'll also be targeting hospitals to roll out RotaPal across the organisation. At this stage, hospitals can avail of RotaPal's additional features like switchboard services and the local management module. A fully rolled out platform would be on average charged at £90,000 a year. But there's more. When a specialty team or a hospital is connected, RotaPal can start to crowdsource locum requirements. There are 3 simple stages of fulfillment. Firstly, internal fulfillment at no cost. Secondly, at hospital bank staff level, maintaining familiarity of workforce. And thirdly, RotaPal's locum marketplace, which will open up fulfillment to the wider medical circle. The latter 2 would incur a simple £10 transactional fee, which would represent at least an 87% saving compared to traditional methods. So what's our market approach? Well, it's a 2-pronged approach. As mentioned, building our community of clinicians is key. We'll be utilising a collaboration agreement with Induction Healthcare app. They are currently the #1 used app by doctors in the UK and have a community of over 140,000 worldwide. This collaboration will see RotaPal promoted with the option to integrate with the entire network, which provides the basis of exponential growth. Alongside this, we'll be utilising various advertising channels and industry bodies to market. We'll be selling direct to hospitals, targeting hospitals with a history of innovation or a mission to digitally transform, which if there's one good thing to come out of this pandemic, it's the priority for hospitals to digitise their workforce. Our competitors individually offer segments of our product offering. RotaMap offers niche rota management services for anaesthetic teams, Allocate as a back-end focused system and largely inflexible to meet the demands of frontline clinicians. Patchwork app is a locum fulfillment app that feeds from manual systems. Apps like Shiftworker indicate the demand for personal rota management. Well, what would you rather have? 4 different applications or 1 simple application? With Trustwide application, RotaPal encompasses the day-to-day needs to manage rotas across the entire hospital ecosystem. We're proud of our traction and proof points we've made to date. We currently have over 1,500 registered doctors. We have 8 specialty teams that have moved from our freemium to premium. We have contracts with 4 different hospital trusts, 43 active rotas, and our freemium to premium conversion is 4:1. We have an overall approval rating of 87%. At the end of 2019, we won Best New Startup in the Intertrade Ireland competition, and last year, amid the pandemic, we managed to do 40,000 in sales. But the opportunity is much greater. Within our current community, we have doctors from across 13 countries worldwide, and from initial research, we know these issues are inherent throughout global healthcare. Our total addressable market within the UK is worth 40 million, in notable English-speaking countries, 250 million, and globally, 2 billion. In 2021, we see the implementation of our single player mode, increasing volume of opportunity. We also plan to convert a number of pipeline deals and increase the value of our current recurring customers. 2022, we will launch the locum fulfillment and weekly planner modules, and by furthering investment in our team, including in our sales and locum recruitment teams, we aim to double sales year on year. With an investment of 150,000 coupled with forecasted revenue, this will provide the company with a 24-month runway. We plan to spend 36% on business development and sales, 32% funds on software development, and the remainder on customer success and operations. In terms of the exit opportunity, with healthcare transactions volume on the rise, with over 130 transactions recorded in the first half of 2020 alone, there's plenty of opportunity within the market. The trailing 30-month median enterprise value to sales was a multiple of 3.
1 minute.
So if you care about the state of our healthcare service, the livelihoods of our clinicians, and are passionate about patient care, help us help your NHS. Happy to take any questions you may have.
That's great, Harry. Thank you very much. So as before, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. Just to ask there, Harry, so in terms of your customers, are they health boards, trusts, or doctors themselves?
They are a health board trust themselves. So yeah, just hospitals individually, obviously organised by the actual trust themselves to have the contracts with, yeah.
So what's the sales cycle like then? Is it long, short, difficult, easy?
Yeah, so we appreciate that healthcare is an incredibly hard market to kind of sell into. For our smaller teams approach, that we're going after specialty departments as opposed to wide scale trusts, that kind of lifestyle lead or sales lead is about 1 to 3 months. It's just depending on each trust works individually and teams work individually. For those larger scale deals, we're looking at somewhere between 6 months and 9 months.
And how's COVID that? Has it improved things or made it harder or?
Yeah, it's mixed. It's been a mixed in terms of that. We've had projects that were postponed a number of months just because of IT resource internally was redistributed to make sure everyone could get online and using other digital platforms within the trust itself. But we've also seen a rise of the clinician and the power of the clinician to make decisions themselves. So we've had contracts that we've had meetings, and a week later we had the deal complete. So it's been a mixed bag.
Very good. So just got a question here from Alistair Cameron. Lambton, previously called Network Locum, has raised 30 mil over 4 rounds. Do you think 150k is enough? And what are you aiming to do with this investment? Yeah, it's obviously a valid point. We're confident with the forecasting that we've done in this investment deck and investment plan. There's probably always more room to adjust that going forward. But to get us off the ground in what we have forecasted to build in the next 12 months and the sales pipeline that we have to date, we believe that will put us in a good stand to get us off the ground. If needs be, we'll address that going forward. If there needs to be another round, that be involved in there, but we're confident of that. And your initial market is UK and sort of England, Scotland, Northern Ireland. Yeah, the NHS. We know the NHS quite well. We also have a trade advisory service consultant working for us in the Republic of Ireland, and we're also exploring opportunities in Germany, South Africa, and Australia at the minute, along with MSNI. Brilliant. And just got one other question here, just to confirm. Just to confirm who the customers are. So the service, who currently pays for the service? Doctors directly, or have they contracts with the trusts? Just to clarify that. The trusts pay for the service. So doctors basically go to their trust and say, we want to use this software. Can you get it for us? Yeah, we take it from both angles. So we're looking at the internal pull from the clinicians themselves. Once they're up and engaged with the platform, they can see the potential of it. We can then target the trust from an external perspective and understand that the clinicians themselves like it, use it, want to formulate it within the actual operations of their specialty department, and then we confirm that deal with the trust. All right, good stuff. Anyone has any more questions for Ron or for Harry? His contact details are there in the chat and on screen at the minute. So thank you very much. Michael, Raise, thanks very much. That's all. So we're going now from Hollywood County Down to Byrne in London, who's going to tell us all about Pryntd. Byrne's another one of our Raise companies in a very, very exciting sector. More so this year than ever before. We've started to realize that how we get access to music and media is changing dramatically, and Byrne's got the tech to make that happen. So I'll pass over to him.
Thank you so much, Michael. Hi everyone, my name is Bernie and I'm the founder of Pryntd. Pryntd is an immersive on-demand and live streaming with aptX support for entertainment. And what we're doing is to make it easy for content creators to actually be able to create or convert existing 2D content into immersive. And we're talking augmented and virtual reality using our proprietary AI algorithms. And what that does is to enable consumers, audiences to be able to access this content on their smartphones, tablets, computers, and AR, VR devices. The biggest problem that we're facing is to do with the lack of content. So we have big organizations like Facebook, Microsoft, Apple recently, getting into the whole immersive universe, but the problem is just being able to generate content, especially for content creators. There's no easy way for them to be able to create content at the moment. They have to invest in VR cameras, which a lot of them don't necessarily have the expertise of using. And what we've done is with our deep learning algorithm, we've been able to create an immersive on-demand platform that would enable people to easily be able to create this content and also be able to easily access the content. And how it works is users can scan QR codes to access the AR version of content, and then they could follow a link to the VR version, or they could go through links to access the AR and the VR versions, just depending on what's convenient for them. And for us, it was really trying to make it extremely easy for them to not necessarily have to download apps, but to just be able to access content through their native browsers. And that's one of the unique features that we have. And they could do that through URLs or go through QR codes to be able to, and being able to scan AR on their phones. And revenue model is ad supported, but also artists can charge fans subscriptions. So their fans will be able to pay them monthly for exclusive content, exclusive access, and also for their live streaming content. And the market for immersive is blowing up. Is expected to be over 500 billion by 2025. We have the likes of Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft investing very heavily in the market. And we want to be able to gain at least 1% of the market in the next 5 years. And our competition are Tesla Suit with what they do with immersive suits. Next VR and Apple that Apple just acquired recently. Again, they're focused on VR, and that's a unique competition for us. Melody VR are currently in the VR live event space, and they recently acquired Napster. So that's another company that we are really looking at in terms of competition. And our team is made up for myself. I'm the founder. I've got years of experience in AI and with immersive technologies, especially with augmented and virtual reality. Jeffrey's known in the events industry space, has worked for the likes of Red Bull and Strawberries and Creams festivals. So notable mentions of what we've got is what we're doing with Aptix, and we were named by District Catapult recently for one of the companies to look out for. We were listed on the top 100 AI companies globally, and part of new things that we're going to be experimenting with would be shopping and other forms of entertainment, such as series of movies in the future. And Pryntd is a trading name of Envision, and we are SCIS and EIS approved, and we are looking to raise 250K, and we've already got 25% of the amount committed by Plug and Play. And in the next month, we are doing equity crowdfunding. I'm looking to raise 80K. We've got 50% of it committed. And that would be for development, marketing, and scaling. And one of the interesting things that we wanted to present today as well was just the ability for everyone in this meeting to actually be able to test out our features and see what you think about it. But yeah, so this is who we are, Pryntd, and we are looking to raise money. So we are looking for investment. We've already got offered the amount that we need for the crowdfunding, but we do want to hopefully be able to gain that before we actually go to market. Thanks so much for your time. I'm Bernie, and this is Pryntd.
Cheers, Bernie. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. As before, any questions, stick them in chat, and I'll pass them on. So in terms of the where you've got to today, you've got a significant number of artists and things already putting content up onto the platform and being used by you.
Oh yes, absolutely. So we've got over 350 artists. And one thing as well that we've got is we've got the top recording artists. So since June last year, we've had every #1 Billboard artist feature on Pryntd. So this artist right now, this is 24 Golden, and they're currently #1 on Billboard. They've been on board for a couple of weeks now, and they are the ones that we're actually featuring on our AR feature for the week. So again, it gives us the unique opportunity to be able to showcase artists in a very unique way, and for them, it's a brilliant way of being able to engage further with their audiences.
And in terms of your ongoing growth and things, so you're seeing a steady increase of subscribers and people coming on to watch the content then as well?
Absolutely, exponential increase in our user base, and especially with what we're launching with the AR version, we have just demonstrated many unique ways for people to actually be able to get onto the platform, to be able to access us using passive content like things on print, things potential posters, on magazines, on phone covers, just anything that we can print stuff on, and people are able to engage with that. So we've got a tremendous amount of growth from that.
And do you need any additional hardware to be able to watch the content?
You don't need it, but I mean, look, for instance, the VR version is a lot better with a VR headset. But one of the things that we wanted to make easy is for every person to be able to access this content on whatever device they've got. So if you've got a smartphone, you're able to access it, you're able to play around with it. It's motion sensing, it's touch sensing. But if you have a VR headset, you are in for a wonderful experience in VR. And with the AR version as well, just using your mobile phone, you're able to access by scanning an image that, a printed image, and you're able to engage using AR. So it's just so many different interesting ways of being able to engage with content with us.
Brilliant. Well, I'll encourage everyone here today to take this and show it to their kids. To show how brilliant it is. Maybe I'm speaking a massive out of turn, but I suspect a few people are looking at this slightly lost. So show it to your kids, and they'll tell you how brilliant, innovative, and how this is the future.
Absolutely, kids love it. And the minute you understand how it works, which is very easy, you're gonna fall in love with it.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I say, Bernie's details are there in the chat. And get in touch if you have any questions or want to find out more, or any questions that your kids have, get them through to him, and he'll sort you out. So that's brilliant. Look, thank you very much. So now we're going from London, just a little bit northeast up to Norwich, I believe. And we're not actually, we're staying in London. Sorry, I overjumped there. We're now moving on to Atlas SportsTech and James, who's a Belfast boy in London. Is that a fair?
Well, an Armagh boy in London.
Armagh boy in London.
Yeah.
I won't make that mistake twice, James.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, thanks very much for this, Michael and Jenny. By the way, I appreciate Atlas. We joined this slightly late. There's a couple of reasons behind that. We'd actually believed to have closed out our raise, and unfortunately lost a fairly significant investor due to COVID who passed away just before Christmas. So look, thanks for this opportunity. I'm going to take a slightly different approach. I'm going to share just the front screen of our deck. I really struggle to condense this because there's a lot of information. So I'll talk through a bit of a story, what we've done to date, and the offer sort of in place at the moment. So I'll just share my screen and bring this up. So you should all be able to see that now. Look, my background's professional sports. I played professional rugby for 10 years, was in the Ulster Academy, came across here to England, played at London Irish and a few other clubs. Unfortunately, had to retire through injury. Now, everyone thinks playing professional sports is fantastic all the time, and we're lucky to do it. And we are, there's no doubt about that. But there is a lot of challenges in the environment, and I'm going to touch upon those, and I will come back to the positives as well. So within a club environment, there's a lot of conflicting data and a lot of information that's floating around because there's so many different systems being used. A lot of these systems are closed. They're not interoperable with other technologies. Communications can then really lack and slag across the business, and that causes conflicting messaging and injuries and problems around mental well-being within the athletes themselves. Medical records being a big issue. I actually had to retire through injury, like I said, and unfortunately, due to that, my medical information was different in different clubs and conflicting. I didn't have an insurance payout. A lot of what we look at and what we do as a company is look at how we can benefit the clubs, the athletes, and ultimately the fans as well. So I'll touch upon the athletes themselves. there is a lot of apps and there's a lot of systems that the athletes have to input. Now, we personally, as an athlete, really didn't want to engage in these and really struggled to engage with these because we didn't see the real benefit. It started to cause challenges within the club environment for them to actually believe in the information that was being presented and put into it. Now, I don't know if anyone's aware, but 60% of professional athletes struggle mentally and physically whenever having to retire. Now, a lot of that's due to a loss of sense of community, identity, purpose. I mentioned the insurance side, which is a massive issue in the space. You know, there really is a big problem around conflicting medical information and data sitting all over the place. They really have no ownership over that. And to give you, put this into context, we've engaged with British and Irish Lions players, we've engaged with Olympians, and it's all the same. It's the same across the market. You know, they're all really struggling with this. And not only that, you've got fans, obviously, and fans are a massive part of what we're looking to do. There's a really poor communications, and a lot of the communication comes from a negative point from the clubs, believe it or not. And they really struggle to promote positive well-being and positive physical activity. And again, the fans and individuals, and I say fans, but I really mean the general population, they struggle to trust what is actually out there. You know, what do they believe? What system's the best? What physical activity should they be doing? So they're the challenges that I faced whenever I was in that setup, and that was going back 6-7 years now. Fast forward, and I actually work as a healthcare consultant within the UK, and quite interestingly enough, with the guys at RotaPal, and I actually work with a potential competitor of yours about getting them into the UK healthcare space. So know it really well. I think it's a great opportunity that you're looking at, by the way. So I see the strains firsthand, that the challenges that we see within the elite sports environment and the fans, obesity, mental health, the real challenges they put on and stress they put on the NHS. Now, that is a big focus for the government, and there's a lot of funding and things going on there, but I look at bringing technology solutions into the UK healthcare market to benefit the general population. What happened, I was introduced to a home exercise program and monitoring solution called PT Wired. They gave me the opportunity to go back to my old clubs to see if these issues I faced as a player were still there. And I'm telling you, they're tenfold now, because there's so many different solutions out there. None of them talk to each other. All of the information's conflicting, and it's really causing challenges within that environment. Not only that environment, but I mentioned the positives that come from sports. I've seen it firsthand how sports and athletes can impact the general population. And that's really key for us, because this is what we're looking to do. We're looking to drive positive physical and mental habits on a global scale. And that is a part of our market reach and sort of our market strategy. By getting it right at the clubs, by getting it right at the athletes, we're driving that change into the general population. So we went out to Manchester City Football Club, Rangers Football Club, the British and Irish Lions, English, the ECB, the RFU, the Russian Rugby Federation, the Italian Rugby Union. We've had conversations with them. We're using the platform we had, and actually that PT Wired platform, which is, by the way, I should put that into context, it's common shareholders, common directors within that, and I am one of them. So we were able to utilize that platform to see how one basic element of what we're looking to do increased compliance to regimes, increased productivity and outputs, and ultimately helped the communications within the club and drove those positive cycles. So, like I said, what we've done since then, having engaged with fans, clubs, sports bodies, athletes, coaches, we then engaged with Soda Consulting and designed a digital ecosystem to solve these issues across the board. So what we've done, we've created an open digital ecosystem that integrates all data, analyzes all data, and reports back on that data in a specific bespoke environment for the clubs, for the athletes, and provides a real-time communications platform. Now that's the clubs. The athletes themselves, we're giving them back their data. We're giving them back the empowerment to hold their medical information. Now, from their standpoint, this athlete app as such, because that is a component of this, by giving them that, we're getting them to engage with what we're doing. We're getting them to input their nutrition information. We're getting them to input their data around training, their mental well-being scores, to really empower them to do this. And also this correlates to them whenever they transfer out of sports. You know, they really have that ownership. They don't lose who they are. And that's really something I'm very passionate about. We are as a team. From a fan standpoint, the system allows the clubs to engage with their fans in a positive way, send out positive messaging, send out positive information from the clubs around physical habits. Let's get you moving. I see you've dropped off by 2% in your physical activity. Let's get you back up. What we can also look to do is actually look at this on a global scale, not just within the clubs. Now, I'll come to that in a second. A lot of the benefits, you know, I've mentioned around the fans and the athletes and the clubs. We pitched this to Microsoft about 6 months ago. Microsoft jumped at it. Microsoft have given us 650K worth of resource to make sure we develop the underlying architecture correctly. They've given us a platform, which we now own the IP for, which was developed between Microsoft and the NFL. They're giving us the latest augmented reality, which, for example, in a club setting would be the physios put on a set of glasses. They'll see me running down the field. The naked eye won't pick up the nuances in how my foot's striking the ground. But these glasses will feed the information to our system, and you've got one holistic view on that athlete. Now, just to put this into context, Man City couldn't believe this. For a club at their size, at their level, they love this. And again, just on the Microsoft side, they also want to showcase things like real-time language translation. So if no one else in this call speaks English apart from myself, you will all hear directly in real time whatever language you speak, which again, from a global community standpoint, an engagement standpoint, is fantastic. And this is what Microsoft got really excited about, because they're all about promoting positive health and positive physical and mental habits. So that's where we got. Sorry, we also became members of the Global Sports Innovation Center, which, to put that into context, is a group of technology providers or technology startups that work within the sports tech space. Now, that allows us to collaborate and work with other technologies in this area. There are, at the moment, barriers to market, which is something which is obviously really key from an investor standpoint, but from our standpoint, it is relatively low, because a lot of the systems out there are relatively closed, but don't have an overarching holistic view from a club, athlete, and fan standpoint. Now, we can create, through Microsoft co-selling this, by the way, they want to push this out to their elite sports clubs and really push this out, because we're showcasing a lot of their latest technology that won't be available to the market. We can create, because of the large data and the reasons to stay within our system, a very high barrier to market, barrier to entry. So in terms of to date, I did mention we are looking to raise 450K. We had actually raised that, or believed to have raised that, and unfortunately lost a significant investor due to COVID, who passed away just before Christmas. Like I said, Microsoft are giving us 650K with the resource. Soda Consulting, who are our development partner, have deferred 93K into equity. And we have actually raised now at the moment 230K, and have about 400K worth of pipeline with other angels at the moment. So we're in a fairly strong place. Due to the time, we've actually self-funded an extra 70K bit of work to keep this moving. We therefore have dropped the valuation from 12 million down to 5 to get this completed. The bids to date, to be very open, were anything between 6 and 10, but we are fairly rigid at that 5 million point. Now, in terms of exit, year 3 revenue, just looking at the club standpoint, is circa 8 million if we're on target. That does not take into consideration athletes, fans, or e-commerce, which will be a part of that. We would hope to have a reach within year 5 of 80 million fans. Our potential revenue at that point is 100 million. If you know the technology space, the health tech, sports tech space, when we look to sell, and Microsoft, for example, Amazon, for example, would be target people for us to have conversations with. You look at a multiple of, say, between 10 and 15 for a system similar to ourselves. So that is Atlas. I believe you should all have the deck, or we'll be able to view the full deck, which will give you more information. But look, thank you very much for your time. If you've got any questions.
That's brilliant, James. Thank you very much.
No problem.
So in terms of those clubs and things that you're speaking to, or have any of them, are you contractually connected to any of that? Have they signed up, so to speak?
No, so what we're doing, because the funds, I should say, the funds will actually develop our system, and then we'll be going to the likes of Man City. They've agreed with us that they want to do a beta test within a controlled environment. Russia Rugby Union want to take the system as soon as it's ready. Chelsea Football Club, for example, they potentially want to do something very similar. London Welsh, some smaller clubs are already engaged to run with the system. So that initial investment goes to get the beta launch, get the data through it, and then any further tweaks and developments. Then we have the commercial system, which we released about another 3 months post that. So for us to then go to market and commercialize the opportunity, realistically, we're looking at a 9-month period from the 27th of February.
Is this something increasing that agents are including in contract negotiation with players?
That's a huge point. So a lot of what we're looking to do, where systems go wrong and where a lot of technologies go wrong, is the adoption of them. Now, I know, like I mentioned, we had apps and systems and we could never be bothered as an athlete to put the details in because we never saw the benefit. By creating this athlete passport, this is effectively a recruitment tool for their agents, for those athletes to go to those clubs. Now, we spoke to a lot of chief execs of football clubs here, national bodies, and what they'll want to do whenever they're picking their national squad, recruiting into the club, is if they've got an athlete with their passport, all their data, all their information around injuries in one centralized place, and someone else who they don't, but they're similar players, they're going to trust the data. They're going to trust that information. So that's a really good and valid point, Michael. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's great. Well, very interesting, great thing, and great if we can see here locally the things that Stat Sports are doing and Insider Sport and all those guys. It's a massive market, so great opportunity. And so we'll share out your slides and everything through after the event to everyone who's registered.
Thanks so much.
And also our wider list as well, just so we can spread the word as best we can.
Super. Thank you, everyone.
No, it's all right. So now we are moving from London up to Norwich, and Abby, who's going to tell us a lot about the Bank of Mum and Dad, who are offering BOMADU, who are on a mission to offer an alternative solution to the home deposit challenge for many first-time buyers. So I'll hand over to you, Abby.
Thank you, Michael. Hope you can see me and hear me clearly.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity to share about BOMADU with you today. My name is Abi Heloim. I am the founder and the CEO of BOMADU, which is an abbreviated word for Bank of Mum and Dad United. BOMADU aims to offer an alternative solution to help solve the deposit challenge that many first-time buyers experience in the United Kingdom. So by offering 100% deposit loans for first-time buyers. So about 5 years ago, I started my journey of desiring and dreaming of buying my first home. And of course, as required, I started putting money aside, saving to fulfill this desire, to fulfill this dream. But little did I know that the more I save every year, the more the mortgage offer price goes up, the property price goes up, which makes it more interesting that, okay, it was becoming like a rat race for me that every year, as I say, but the property prices keeps going up. That means I will need a bigger deposit, for me. And unfortunately, I do not. My parents were not in the position to assist, to top up my deposit saving. So what then happened was I started talking to quite a number of people that what is going on, and look at what I'm experiencing. But little did I know that the challenge was not actually peculiar to myself, but quite a number of first-time buyers in the UK when that situation too, whereby many are having to give up, so many things for about at least 5 to 7 years or even 10 years to be able to afford their first home. So a few other things that I discovered in the journey was that the house prices in the UK and the gap between home purchase price and the mortgage offer is growing, and over 39% of first-time buyers receive support from their parents or from friends. And also at the moment there is no alternative to help to buy or family funding, which is a means of that could offer either full or part-time provision for house deposit for many first-time buyers. And again, there is there is lack of meaningful savings products that could actually focus into helping first-time buyers to achieve this to achieve their first-home buy. So I then came up with a solution which will provide financial education and coaching on finances for first-time buyers that is specifically to individuals, and also that we offer mortgage deposit, 10% mortgage deposit in form of fixed loan deferred for over 5 years and repaid back with different in a different method, and also a smart saving product that, as well as a savings product for loan repayment as well too. So this is the solution I came up with, which is BOMADU, to help first-time buyers overcome the deposit challenge by providing 100% deposits. Now, who is a typical customer? A typical customer is someone could be Rowan and Jack and anyone struggling to buy their home due to increasing property prices, looking to for a way to afford deposits, for their first home. That do not have access to wealthy parents or family that could support them with their deposit savings, or anyone that is currently renting, which is also difficult to do when they are trying to save for home deposit, really. So from talking to people and also doing an extensive research, we found that over 83% of first-time buyers actually find deposit as the main or the biggest challenge to fulfilling their own first home purchase dream, buying their dream, the house that they desire. And over 50% of first-time buyers will actually consider the product that BOMADU is working on to launch very soon. About 91% or even more than that, first-time buyers plan to save in order to be able to buy their first home. So what in the UK, mortgage deposit assistance provided by family members or even parents, is valued at over £5 billion. And this is a research that has been validated by a number of financial institutions, including Legal and General, also quite a number of banks, including Lloyds Bank and also not HSB, but Santander. But of that, which equivalent to 350,000 first-time buyers on a yearly basis, that do get financial support. Of this market, 200,000 of them, which is about over 57% of them, do get access to family support. But many of that do not have access to financial support from families to help them. So as a company, we are going to be looking at least very conservatively about 40% of that market, which equivalent to about 29,600, to help first-time buyers get onto the property by providing them 100% deposits. What does our financial projections look like over the next 5 years? Very, very conservatively, we have helping 300 customers in the first year, 300 first-time buyers in the first year, and getting to about 29,600 in the next 5 years will give us revenue profits of over 73 million pounds. Now, this is the gap that we have spotted in the market, and that BOMADU will be the only way to buy a home with no deposit. In comparison to other competitors, BOMADU has a very, very extensive experience, and also in a very rich product features that we will be launching that will make us stand out from the competitor, really. Our development roadmap, to date, we are a team of about five members. We are securing 300,000 to head our product development, which we have been working on basically solely using my own deposit that I saved to launch and to develop the product, which is going to be like a banking product from scratch. We are hoping to launch it in the end of March this year. We've gone through the application regulatory license that is required. We will be launching in March. There's still other licensing bit that we still need to cover, but we are working on that. From next month, we'll be trialing with 100 customers, which will be to just open the payment services, current account, UK current account banking products first in next month. Then by the end of this year, we aim to have about 10,000 banking product customers, which are approximately 300, as I discussed earlier, will be for mortgage to help first-time buyers get onto the property ladder.
Could you wind it up, please? Cheers.
Thank you. And today we're seeking 300,000 to help us with application licensing, and also to launch the better product that we've got on. Here's the team. We've got a very diverse team in the company, myself, the co-founder, and also David, who's the CTO, Chris John from Tech Velocity, has been helping us, advising us on the product launch for it. So we are passionate about this business. Thank you. If you've got any questions, I would like to take now.
That's brilliant, Abby. Thank you very much. As always, any questions, put them in the chat bar. So in terms of the progress, will you be working alongside an institution to sort of help manage the banking specifics in terms of treasury and holding the cash and things like that?
Okay, yes. So what we are launching in March. We've got a financial institution that we will be registered as an EMD agent to then launch the banking product, which is the current that will enable us to provide current account for our customers. And then in terms of the mortgage lending as well, too, we are applying directly to the FCA for our own license, which we are in the process already.
Oh, very good. And
so for the banking itself, yes, we have got that covered, and we are launching in March.
That's good. And in terms of, so you're going for a full lending license rather than appointed rep status or anything?
No.
You're just going for the full.
Correct. So we're going for the field license, which is EMD agent, that will enable us to provide current UK current account for potential customers, and also while we are still waiting for our mortgage license, which will be also by the end of this year, that we've started the processing now.
Very good. And who do you see your main competitors being at this stage?
At this stage, the main competitor is again the government help to buy scheme, which is coming to an end, and there's not going to be any alternative. Also, there is another company called Opportunity, but they are very, very, very far away to what we can, because we stand alone. If you look at the computer slide that I showed earlier, none of them offer bank accounts like we do. None of them actually provide seamless experience like actually hand-holding customers, first-time buyers, through the journey of purchasing their first home. All of this has been built in our platform from scratch. It's a proprietary platform that we are building and launching now.
Very good. And in terms of, so obviously with regulatory requirements, UK basis, do you see any potential to expand into other markets?
Oh, yes. I mean, in fact, quite a number of other countries have been reaching out already to us, like Australia, Malaysia, and New Zealand. So there is potential to scale up on other countries as well, too.
Very good. Well, that's great. Well, thank you very much. If you want to get in touch with Abby directly, his email address, hello@BOMADU.com, is up there on the chat, and I'm sure he'd be delighted to have a conversation.
Thank you.
The frustration, like all these things, is that normally you'd love to be able to jump in a plane and pop over and go out for a coffee and have a chat about all these things, but we're just trapped in perpetual Zoom calls. So I'm sure you'll be free for all the guys pitching today. I'm sure I'll be open for virtual coffees and chats as well to find out more. So I think now we're staying in the fintech space and moving slightly to the left, the InsurTech. For Claire, who's up in, we were talking about this earlier. Are you in Donegal or Derry, Claire? We were talking about this earlier.
I'm originally a Derry girl, but I'm in Donegal.
All right, okay. Just like the Armagh thing, I didn't want to get that wrong either. It's
critical.
Yeah, well, absolutely. ITUS Secure Technologies is an innovative, or CYBRISC is Claire's innovative software which is supporting the insurance industry and to quantify cyber risk in SMEs, reducing their loss ratios in cyber insurance, enabling management of systematic risk within their portfolios. And unlike their competitors, they report on near-miss cyber incidents using data from security solutions implemented by the SME themselves. So I'll pass over to Claire, who can explain that much better than I just tried to.
Perfect. It's one of the things you always regret when you name your company, strange names. So we're IDIS Technologies, named after the god of protection. So thanks very much for the opportunity to actually run through this. So I'll give you a brief overview of where we're going with this. So you've probably seen this headline in the news in the last couple of days. The insurance industry are now being held accountable for failing to pay out on claims to SMEs to do with business interruption as a result of COVID. That there has arisen because of lack of clarity in policy terms about what was covered and what wasn't covered. The same risk exists in cyber insurance, and it's been a real shot across the bow for the insurance industry when it comes to cyber insurance. So cyber insurance is a really exciting and relatively new industry, still very much in its infancy, but it has grown significantly over the last 5 years, and it's forecast to continue to grow at a rate of 24% compound annual growth rate over the next 5 years to reach a market share of around 24 billion by 2025. It's highly lucrative, and more incumbents are trying to carve up their share of the marketplace, but it's not without risk. The biggest growth sector is within the SME standalone cyber insurance policies, but there is a lack of historical data around claims and cyber risk for SMEs. There's a significant issue to do with disclosure, whether that's purposeful misdisclosure or inaccurate disclosures at the point of entry. And cyber on the whole is very unique and an evolving risk, something that has to be taken on board. And whilst there has been increase in cyber insurance uptake, there's also been significant increases in the number of incident rates. That's not taken into account the elephant in the room, that is COVID. Even businesses who had really strong security postures have now changed significantly in terms of risk. Working from home is not the same as working at home. We all know it's a minefield, and what's particularly worrying for the insurance industry is many organisations are actively considering keeping a remote working solution in place for many of its employees, despite not updating their security posture to reflect that. So this is a risk that the insurance industry are carrying. They're actively seeking out solutions to help address these risks, and we have a solution to do that. CYBRISC is a unique data aggregation platform that helps the insurance industry to quantify that cyber risk in SMEs. We know we have a good product solution fit because we were awarded Zurich's Innovation Champion in Ireland in 2020, and they've agreed to a proof of concept trial with our product, specifically addressing those elements in their SME standalone cyber insurance policy market. So let's just give you an overview, and I'm hoping this is going to play, of the software itself. CYBRISC is a SaaS solution which harnesses data points from within the SME to give an accurate reflection of that SME's security posture. For the insurance industry, our solution provides an individual risk indicator that can be used as an additional data point for risk profiling in terms of pricing of premiums and liability cover. For the insurance sector, it also gives an overview of the systemic risks that their portfolio contains. And unlike our competitors, BitSight, Security Scorecard, and CyberCube, we do report on near misses as well. So the benefits of our solution is that it's providing a vehicle for the insurers, those incumbents, to ensure that risks are shared equally between the SME and the insurance provider. It helps to simplify the whole process around cybersecurity for the SME. It educates them on their risk, and it helps to support them manage that risk, because improved cyber management reduces the number of cyber incidents by 90%, and that in turn reduces the number of claims paid out by 90%. For the insurance provider, this now will enable them to offer a full wraparound cyber risk management service, so helping to prevent, detect, repair and recover from cyber incidents for the SME sector. For the SME, they'll benefit potentially from increased liability cover or a decreased premium. So think very much like driver telematics, only in the field of cybersecurity. You're rewarded for best behaviour and good practices. We have a highly skilled team with expertise in cybersecurity, software development, entrepreneurship, risk compliance, sales, and marketing. And any gaps that currently exist within our own management team are kind of added to and provided for by a highly skilled team of advisors. And we continue to grow in those, particularly within the insurance sector. So where are we going with this? Well, over the next 12 months, we're going to roll out a series of product trials for our product, and we're going to focus on adding to the technology that we have already built. So we have an MPV, and we are revenue generating through another element of our business where we offer managed cyber services to SMEs. We know this sector from the bottom up, and our product has been developed out of our first-hand knowledge of working with small and medium businesses. We're seeking $500,000 in funding to help develop our technology and build a successful sales pipeline out the other end. We've already secured 50,000 in funding from Enterprise Ireland, and we have the opportunity to match fund any investment using Enterprise Ireland through their high potential startup vehicle. We'd be really keen to chat to anyone who would like to help us on our journey, whether that's through investment or in making connections within the insurance industry. And I'd welcome the opportunity to chat to anyone further about the product that we have.
That's great. Thank you very much. And 30 seconds to spare, so you get a prize. Yeah, there's a selection box sitting here waiting for you when you're ready. So any questions, as always, put them into the chat. Like something I was going to ask in terms of, well, Alistair Bell here's asking, are you a UK or ROI company?
So we're incorporated in the Republic of Ireland at the minute, but obviously the vast majority of cyber insurance is underwritten in London. So moving into the UK and registering in the UK is a priority for us in the next few months. Okay.
And will you be going for, Alistair got the question in before I did, will you be getting SEIS or EIS approval then when you set up? Yep, so that's exactly the element that we're going after, and we're also doing the same in the Republic of Ireland as well, yeah. Okay, that's great. And then in terms of the sort of customers that you're going after at the minute to be first adopters, do you have a specific profile for them? So our business model is where we see the insurance industry providing the cost and covering the cost of access to the CYBRISC platform. So they'll provide us with a cost per seat for each license is activated, and then also we will onboard customers. So there'll be a fee for kind of customer support and development as well that wraps around that. So we're very much looking after providers who have significant market share in the SME standalone sector, and we've identified those. So the likes of Zurich, CFC Underwriting, AXA, Travelers, etc. Okay, and it covers all types of insurance. Then it's not specific to motor or. So we're specifically going after the standalone cyber insurance sector for that reason. So there are a range of policies that have an element of silent cyber within them, but the insurance industry now are starting to move those out. So very much lessons learned from that business interruption. You're not going to be covered for any cyber incident under any professional indemnity or any standard business. You're going to have to take out a standalone policy to be able to avail of it. And that's the market that we're cutting out and going after. Well, very good. And yeah, and then you cover off the Brexit issue by having the two offices, I suppose, then as well. And yeah, and all of our data will be stored. Any UK data relating to UK customers will be stored in the UK in data centers within that, and vice versa. Then as we move throughout the world, so we're conscious always of GDPR and how we store our data and where our data centers need to be. All of our systems are cloud-based, so there's no issue in terms of any devices or hardware or anything having to be added to the network. And that's the only regulatory burden you have then is GDPR. There's no other regulatory barrier to doing what you want to do? There's no regulatory barrier, but there are other elements that we do need to be conscious of in terms of e-privacy and different kind of cybersecurity regulations that are coming into play throughout Europe. But those are things that we are aware of, and we're building with those in mind to make sure that we have a completely usable product as we move forward. And is there any main competitors at this stage? Or? So there are a range of competitors. Selling data analytics into cyber risk management isn't necessarily new. There's a range of competitors that already feed in at enterprise level, and they'll look at third-party data that's available widely. There aren't any significant players feeding into the SME sector quite reasonably because the data simply isn't there for them. So we're unique in the sense that we are specifically focusing on SMEs and not the enterprise level clients that come out of this. We're focusing on data that's available inside the organization and not freely available outside. So it's truly reflective of the risk that's there. Brilliant. Well, that's great. As always, Claire's contact details, I think, are going to be shared out with you on the pack after the event. If any questions, go direct. I'm sure she'll be happy to help. And once the world opens up, no nicer place to visit at this time of year up in the Northwest. So Something to look forward to in the spring. So now our final pitch today is a recording from a company called Umazi, who we've been working very closely with here at Raise. This is very 2021. So we're going to play a video of Umazi, but she is available on WhatsApp for questions that I can ask her from you guys today as well, because she's currently on another call doing something else. So we're all connected, but she's not physically here. So just to give you a little bit of background, Umazi solves a long existing and significant problem of the tremendous cost of compliance and high risk business transactions by sharing the effort for conducting due diligence between participants and thus reducing their overall risk. Using distributed ledger technology, Umazi solves the problems of trust and security by creating the necessary transparency. Umazi has been accepted onto 3 accelerators at the start of this year. One in particular is the FinTech Innovation Lab, run and supported by Accenture, and that's where she is at the minute. And these programs were initiated this week, so they're juggling attendance at all sorts of things all this week. So Cindy would love to meet and talk to anyone who's interested in investing or finding out more about Umazi, or to be a potential customer or anything. So we'll share her contact details. I think, Jenny, you're going to start the pitch. Here it is.
Founder of Umazi. Umazi is revolutionizing due diligence processes across industry by creating a decentralized service. Our mission is to provide business and clients with the assurance of who they're dealing with, based on trusted and shared information. Our team consists of industry experts from the finance industry to disruptive tech. The idea of Umazi was born when I was working as a regulatory consultant at a tier 1 bank. Many others I previously worked at, then comes to clients to help them get compliant.
Oh, Jenny, I think we've lost the sound here.
I started thinking about the problem differently. So I took a blunt no course, left my cushy contractor paid job, and threw myself at startup land. That's where I met my co-founder, Matt. We both share a passion for streamlining business processes. Today, clients send multiple documentations to multiple regulated institutions to essentially perform similar checks. For example, a mergers and acquisitions deal at a minimum involves an advising bank, broker, a co-shareholder, buyer, insurer, law firm. All of these require due diligence credentials to be shared. The existing process is inefficient and isolated. It takes between 24 to 32 days to onboard a client. It's costly and limitless, costing organizations up to $500 million. Banks otherwise put regulatory institutions have established due diligence processes, but it's not reusable across other industries. They are obligated to verify the identities and evaluate the risks while maintaining client relationships. For non-financially regulated institutions, the process is largely manual, yet carries the same anti-money laundering protection. I mentioned M&A before, but cargo is another example where when rigorous due diligence credentials sharing is required. For both of these, the baseline credentials largely remains the same. Umazi solves this problem by allowing corporates to create a digital identity that represents the due diligence required credentials. To facilitate this process, the identity can be used to onboard with a bank or when partnering with an organization. The end user corporate input their data into the platform once to prove their identity and legitimacy. This data is then validated by a regulated institution. The validated data can then be reused securely and distributed across other organizations or institutions. Umazi, for example, allows the due diligence credentials established by a bank to be reused by a global pharma company. With every due diligence assessment and validation, the corporate identity just becomes more comprehensive. Umazi helps the due diligence process through avoidance of duplication. We allow for the cross-industry sharing of due diligence results in a very transparent, effective, cost-effective, and both regulatory and industry agnostic. We provide a solution that facilitates real-time and transparent updates and credential verification, while allowing an end-user corporate to share their data securely and maintain ownership of their data. Umazi is built on Corda, R3's blockchain open source network, which was specifically developed for the finance industry. Finextra noted that we could reuse 75% of stored client data if leveraging a DLT platform. Reusing validated data can save time, costs, and avoid manual error, thus maximize compliance. Umazi's business model is that of a network facilitator between regulated institutions, corporate clients, and trusted third-party validators. We expect to earn revenue eventually from all through a tier-based subscription model with a baseline license fee, and to top it up once they've reached their client limitations or identities. The number of potential indirect competitors are in the KYC space, but none of those are allowing cross-industry reuse of corporate data. There are also a number of retail and individual identity solutions. We've yet to come across someone that solves the problem for corporates the way we've done. The market opportunity for us is large. It's not sector or regional specific. Our current focus are institutions and organizations who's recently come into scope of the Anti-Money Laundering Directive. For example, law firms. In fact, our first client who we signed is actually a law firm struggling to ensure that their anti-money laundering procedures are comparable with that of an FI. Umazi's objective is to average 3 to 7 deals a year. We anticipate to break even in year 2 on a successful seed round. Due to our network effect, we will attract a high scalability from year 3 onwards. We're looking to raise 750K to focus mainly on front-end development and integration based on the feedback that we've received from our client. As we aim to pilot the platform in the next 6 months, we will also need sales and marketing focus to ensure this. We've secured our first client with first mover preference. We've not wasted time during lockdown. In parallel, we've also given some thought to our social impact and therefore thinking about a socially impactful product in the NGO grant space. And thank you for your time.
Hello, Michael.
That's great. Well, that's Umazi. If anyone has any specific questions now, Cindy is available on WhatsApp while she does something else. So does anyone have any questions at this point? I think it's fair to say that they're moving very, very quickly. And I think the involvement now with Accenture has given them access to a wide range of customers. And then at the same time, they have the support of a very blockchain tech focused accelerator, which is helping them develop and enhance the tech. And then running alongside that, they're working very closely with the Mayor of London office as well, which is then helping them get into the financial services sector and further investments. So they're a very busy team, growing very, very quickly, and we're very excited about what they're doing. So Cindy's contact details are there. She's always free for a chat and get in touch. And that's great. Well, look, I just want to say before I hand over to Jenny, just to wrap things up, just want to thank everyone for pitching, everyone for coming along and listening. What I meant to say at the beginning was recently we've heard that a company who pitched at our last live event has gone on Evercam have just gone on to close, I think it's a £1.75 million raise, which is going to aid their expansion into the US, which they talked about. It's fair to say that the valuation they got for that round to close that out was significantly higher than the valuation that they had when they pitched their last event. So just to give all you investors out there a bit of a nudge, if you want to get real value, you want to get the big multiples, you got to get in early. And the companies here today are at that stage. Now, while we're not FCA authorized, we wouldn't dream of giving any financial advice or guidance or recommend any specific investments. What we would say is get in touch with these guys and have a chat and take advantage of the wonderful opportunities that are there. So I'll just pass over to Jenny to wrap up. And thank you all very, very much.
Well done. I just want to say well done to all our startups for pitching today. Some great pitches across a wide range of industries, and thank you so much to all our investors for joining, both some new faces and some friendly faces. Delighted to have you from across the UK and beyond. At Raise, we do run these pitching events regularly. Our next one will be coming up in the spring. I imagine it will be online again, and we anticipate to have another new range of startups coming to showcase the opportunities. We'll be continuing to updating the website in terms of the opportunities available at RemoteRaise.com. In terms of kind of the investment piece, we're looking to develop our investor network in terms of what we can offer as a community to our investors, not just to our existing investors, but to any new investors that are interested in this space. So we would like to kind of let you guys have a quick look at what we're hoping to, develop throughout 2021 is a Raise Investment Club. And essentially this is all about developing an opportunity for our startups and developing those connections with both angel investors and funds. It's all about our events. It's all about the education piece. We'll be running a series of events and panel events to educate new investors coming on interested in this space, particularly because of the global opportunity online to see more events, see more pitches, and be part of a new investment sector. As Michael mentioned, obviously we're not FCA regulated, but we can do that kind of introduction piece, and it's up to the angel investors then to take it forward. There's obviously opportunity to mentor the founders that have joined today. That's a great way to get started and get to know the companies and build relations. And then obviously we have our Raise offices that at the moment are closed, but we hope to open those in 2021 to try and build our network. And it's a space that if you're coming from further afield and want a hot desk here in Belfast, you're more than welcome. So this is we're trying to build a community of investors to connect in with our founders and strengthen the proposition. So that's what we're working on this year, and be delighted if anybody want to share that with your network and get in touch. And as David mentioned throughout the call, RemoteRaise.com is available for all the pitching events, and we have a couple of events coming up. 28th of January next week is a cyber focus event, so Claire's going to be part of that. Hopefully come along and see our experience with Andrea and Simon Whittaker from NI Cyber, and then we're going to have a lot more events coming in the future. So thank you again everybody for joining, and appreciate you taking the time out, and I look forward to seeing you at our next event. Thanks very much, guys. The founders want to stay on for another 5 minutes and touch base. We'll keep the meeting room open. Thanks very much, everybody.